G'day guys. As I was on a roll with the gold monster videos, if you've seen the last video, a fellow in the US got one of the modified detectors from us, and he did some tests and against his wife's detector. Same gold monster. He swapped the coils, he swapped the batteries, and the last video I did shows the results. Anyway, about this speaker part of it, which will definitely pick up iron particles if you put the detector on the ground. Your speaker's going to get full of iron. What I've done on this one, I said I would put in a filter. Now, you can see there, I've just got lightly tacked in some very, very fine metallic mesh. And if you have a look at it from this side, you can't even really tell it's there, and speakers in there and it's all black. You're not going to know it's there anyway, but it's going to stop the finest of particles getting in. And what this mesh is, I've got some here. This is it here. As you can see, you can see through the stuff. It's very, very fine thread. And the best part about it, if I talk through it, 1 2 1 2, and not talk through it, it's exactly the same. It doesn't impinge on the sound going through this. One thing which is really good, or you put it on microphones and it acts as a pop filter, so, or a bit of a de-esser. It's good like that. So yeah, you can put it over a microphone. You make a capsule out of it and stick it over the electret microphone, and you don't get that like that pop. Sometimes you get a poppy sound when people usually say popcorn. It goes into the microphone very loud. So use this, and you can stop that happening. And if you really want to get carried away, you can double it up, but you don't need to. I've used this stuff on audio equipment. I used to do a bit of stuff on audio equipment years ago. I used to make up guitar preamps and distortion stuff and tube stuff. I used to make up tube amplifiers actually, but it's a dying thing, isn't it? Tubes, also dangerous. But the tube amplifiers I made up, which I digress again, ran on a 9-volt battery. Now you work that one out. And there was no inverter. So anyway, we've got this speaker here, which is it's actually got bits of metal stuck to it already. Fantastic. Okay, blow that off. Now I've just got that stuck there with a little bit of glue on the outside. Not that it really needs it. And if we put that in there like so, perfect. And you can screw it back together. Whoops, go over here, and there's your speaker in there. This mesh too is extremely soft. If it does come off and hit the speaker diaphragm, it's not going to make a sound. It just won't do that. It's really good stuff. So I've got a great whopping sheet of that stuff, which is really good. This is the other detector, which I'm in the middle of doing the upgrades on. As you can see, these boards are really, well, they're easy, but they're also hard. When you got to, like, I'll just point this out while I'm here with this one because I've got it opened up. Actually, I'll take the speaker out. It'll probably fall out because I haven't got it screwed in. But we'll put it back there. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, on the component changes I do on these boards, you can see here that I got to replace that IC there, and because I've taken off the lacquer, I had to clean up the whole area there. I just sealed it with white paint, which is reminiscent of GPX or GP detectors that are all covered in white paint. So I thought I'd be nostalgic there, and yeah, you can see there where that's been replaced. But yeah, I still got other work to do on this anyway. So yeah, we go right over the board and do what needs to be done. So, but anyway, this is just basically about making a filter so you don't one day have to pull the whole thing apart like this and take the speaker out and clean all those iron particles from the speaker. To give you an idea, I have my horrible dirt here somewhere. Uh, somewhere. It's around somewhere. I might have left it out in the grass. I was just going to show you by dipping the front of this on some ironstone, and you can watch it all stick to it. And if I had the audio on, it would sound very, very rattly and very unclear. So, and the thing is with these two, if you if I put a magnet on this mesh and stuck it in the iron, if I had the ironstone here, I don't know if I have, it will stick to the magnet, but I'll take the magnet away and nothing will be on the magnet. It will just be stuck to the, well, it won't stick to the mesh because the mesh is non-metallic. It'll fall straight off, but it won't get on the speaker diaphragm. So you'll get a lot cleaner sound from your detector with putting a screen in there. You could use some material, but material in itself will stop some of the sound frequencies where this won't. So yeah, it just basically screws go back in and you got the thing back together. So this one is a bit dirty anyway. It already had stuff stuck on the speaker, so it might have been a bit rattly. But yeah, and if you really want to get rid of that silvery look in there from the light, not that who cares, but I'm being pedantic, aren't I? You could actually hit it with black texture marker and make it all black. Like, I'm pretty sure that if I got this, I'll just do it as a proof of concept. If I got that and I went up here and I said, oh, what's that one? That's a permanent marker. I don't know if that's any good. Probably, maybe, we'll see. You know, if you wanted to, on the other side, there you go. You make it black and it loses the shine. So you can just hit it with a permanent marker and whatever, if you really wanted to. But yeah, I've only lightly glued this in. I can take it out and make it black. So no big deal. But yeah, that's one way to stop bits and pieces getting inside the speaker cavity. It's not going to get into the detector because if you have a look at the way the speaker put together, even though you can see here that it's got a gasket on it and it's not glued in the right spot, you can see that that's not Minelab, that's a speaker manufacturer who've roughly glued that there. It's slid in. It's still connected, just roughly glued it, so it's not perfectly on the edge. Not that it makes any difference, I don't think. Shouldn't do. But dirt can't get through this, and it can't jump the lip of this gasket where it's up hard on the plastic. So that should act as a seal. I haven't checked it. I'm pretty sure that their industrial designer, in-house or outsourced, however they did this detector, would have checked for this sealing in here properly. I would say it does. And yeah, I'm not going to stick it in and pour stuff in there and see if it does something otherwise. But that's really simple to do. Very, very fine mesh. This is extremely fine. It will not let the small particles through. How I know that? Because I've done it before. I've done it on other speakers that I'll show you. I think I've got it on this one here, which is connected, of course. This is one of the clip-on speakers we sell, and I don't really like them because this clip, damn flimsy. If you push that all the way down, it'll probably break. But they were light and they sounded good. Now, what I've done on this one, I put a square block of foam. This basically, it's like a light spongy material. I think it would actually, it was a big piece, and there was a whole heap of integrated circuit stuck in it. So it's conductive foam, not that it has to be, and it's transparent to audio to a degree too, and it doesn't have any effect on the sound coming out the speaker, but that stops any bits and pieces of ironstone or any magnetic material jumping through the gaps and getting on the speaker element, and you've got this box of rattle. Every time you go over a signal, it'll make that rattly sound. It's horrible. So that was one way of stopping that. And also, I've done very similar on the other bigger speakers that we use. We have bigger ones. I don't use them because I don't need it to blast my ears in here. But you know, on all my videos, I just use that small speaker. It's plenty loud enough. It's, you know, great, and it's light. So I stick it on the armrest of the detector with my amplifier with one of these things. You know, these things we make. Everyone knows about those. They got the compression expansion. So you got the on off, and here there's another control. See, so and runs on a couple of penlight batteries. We haven't got the cover on that at the moment, but no big deal. That's what I use on the bench. If all my tests, all the sound you hear is via one of those and this tiny little speaker here. So it still sounds pretty good if you ask me. Anyway, back to this gadget. So I'm going to, I might pull that out and make it black actually, just keep everyone happy. And yeah, finish off the board here. I was going to say, if anyone wants to work on these boards, they are multi-layer, and it is one hell of a heatsink. To try normally take these ICs off the board, like that little one there, which I can zoom in on this. There we go, because I'm on that camera. There you go. If you want to take that IC off and replace it, just to do some brand protection, I'm not going to mention what that IC is. I don't want to go and it didn't have any markings on it anyway. I think Minelab have whacked them off or whatever, but I couldn't see any markings on it. But you know, I had to probe around, work out what it was, and we've got something a little bit well, in my opinion, I'll call it a little bit better, as you've seen the performance specs on these. But like I say, it's not just that. It's a lot more I've got to do to these to get these detectors, and that's zoomed in too far. You've got no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, to get these up to spec, or what I would classify as my spec, in my opinion. Okay, there's nothing wrong with these detectors, but if you can get a lot more depth on small stuff and better sensitivity, and if you can have it that it doesn't react to the ground as much as what they did in the first place. The fellow that's got one of these out in Arizona, I think, said that, you know, he tested it during daylight hours and it was quiet as a mouse. He did have some issue with it with some yard lights. I take it yard lights are probably LED and run on a switch mode power supply or something like that. I don't know. I'm not over there, but yeah, you can look in the other video anyway. He just sent in a an email with his tests on his detector and his wife's detector, which was not modified in any way, shape, or form. And his side-by-side tests basically did what I did here and got the same results. So that's a good thing. So on these things, yeah, there is more to do on this, and we'll get this one up and going. The other one I did, the customer wanted it back really quickly. He saw the video, saw it was his detector, and obviously just said, "Oh, I want it back." So it's gone back to him. So that's that. I got more of these things coming in anyway. There's people rang up and said, "Oh, can you do mine?" So we're getting a bit of inundation of the gold monster detectors. But anyway, this part here, if you really want to, if you feel you can do it, like you can use a Torx, if you can use a Torx screwdriver like that, that will remove all the screws and the whole thing. Just make sure you don't break off the little mylar connector interconnect, which is next to the display, which goes in there. Don't break that off. Whatever you do, you will cry. You won't have any audio if you break that off, because it actually feeds the connector at the back and the speaker. So if you bust that, you won't have any audio anyway on anything. So don't do that. Yeah, there's probably more we can do to these. I've got to experiment and experiment, measure. We just see how good we can get it. It's coming along very good. Anyway, so the thing is, if you do want to work on these, you need a lot of heat, but you've got to be careful, because if you use a lot of heat, you can damage the board, you can damage the componentry around it, you overheat it, and you have parts fall off with that chip. If you use hot air, you've got to be careful. But like I say, I suggest no one try, really, honestly, no one try and do what I do, because I've been doing it for years and I've got it down to a pretty fine art. And to let someone go at that, trying to remove an IC, you'd probably destroy it. Unless you've been doing electronics for a long time and understand every component around there and what can happen. You have to be very careful. So yeah, don't bust the detector. Be careful with the detectors. But like I say, I've pretty well got this thing nutted out. The only thing you can't do is that micro sitting under the screen. I don't know if you probably can't see it. It's under the screen in there. Big black thing stuck on the board. You don't want to go near that. And it's a good spot to put it too, because you'd have to remove the LCD to get at it, and that's it's sort of a bit like you'd have to cut all the legs, cut all those down there. You'd probably fracture the display where it glues on, because if they move like this, it will break the connection and you won't have an LCD display anymore. And try and heat all these up at the one time on both sides through this board, which is internal ground planed. You will not get enough heat into it, and by the time you did get enough heat into it to pull the display off, the display would have turned black. It probably would stop functioning, and half the components would fall off the board. So I'll call that an anti-counterfeit measure, by putting those ICs. There's a couple of them under there, the big micro MCU or CPU, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, that will thwart any people that want to get it in copy. And if you want to go in the back of the board and probe it, well, you're not going to get very far. There's probably 256 legs on that chip by look at it, and there's no access. So it's all internal plane and paths. And I doubt, actually, I will say I'm very close to being 100% sure that you'll never see a counterfeit one of these come out. And if it was a counterfeit, it will not look like that on the inside. It will not look like that at all. It will be complete jerry rig. Can I use the word abortion? An abortion of a attempt. If anyone tried to copy this, you cannot really copy this and have it perform like this does. It won't work. So that's very interesting. And yeah, that's the chip that I had to take out of that one. As you can see, it's blobbed up on the legs. You might have an idea of how I do that, but then again, up to you. You want to try it, you wreck your detector, tough luck. Minelab will probably tell you where to go, and they will probably not want to fix it if you have tampered with the detector. But I will say that I know what I am doing. I will not wreck it. So it'll just work better. So a lot of people out there at the moment too with their detectors. They're under warranty, especially a lot of the guys with the sixes who want the sixes upgraded, and just in case, a lot of them just want to hang on to their warranty period, and I can't blame them for that, because if you do something to the detector and it goes skew if, um, you know, you can't really say, oh, look, set it back under warranty to Minelab. But then again, I always weigh it up like this: how much gold are you missing out on against the a warranty on a detector that probably, if I did work on it and for some reason it's stuffed up for whatever reason, like my own work, I warranty all my own work. But say, I replace something here and that chip there spat the dummy and blew up or whatever. Yeah, I can fix that sort of stuff. It's no big deal. Um, so all these detectors, I can repair them if need be. If they're under warranty and it's basically as they are, send it to mine. I don't want to know about it. I'm too busy doing other stuff. But yeah, that's the gold monster, and that is what I was saying about putting in a cover of some description. That really dulls it off with the black texture on it, doesn't it? So yeah, I'll flip it out and um, yeah, give it a complete treatment and then put it back together again. Put a bit. You got to be careful too with the glue you use on this, because it's got little tiny fins that stick up, and you only got to glue the top of the fins. I probably haven't got the right glue. I use some sort of rubbery type of glue, which I dabbed on with a cotton bud, so I didn't want it to go everywhere. And you know, some bits it held on the outside, but it didn't really hold right in the middle there. But it doesn't really make any difference, because the gasket of the speaker, when it goes on, is going to pin it in there anyway. So it's nothing to worry about unless you want to be, over the top and so precise. And what you do is you do the glue, and then you put a circular weight on this to let it set hard down, and then after it's all dry, then you take it off and stick it together. Whatever, it doesn't have to be. It's not going to Mars. It's just a dirt shield or magnetic particle shield, so it stops it getting in, making your detector go rattle, rattle, rattle. So anyway, that's enough. I probably yabbered enough. And I've got to finish it off anyway. Got to finish this one off and use it as a yardstick for the next one that comes in. So as I come in, I actually yardstick test them as they come in against a modified one to make sure that everything's working as it should. Uh, yeah, read the comments on the videos. It's guys who've got these that I've done, and there was one there. What did he say? He goes, "Oh, I'm picking up a lot more small lead shot." Oh well. But that's the nature of the beast. You can't just, how are you going to get rid of lead shot unless you use a coin detector with better discrimination than just iron discriminate. It's horses for courses. You're going to dig lead shot. Bad luck. But, a lot of little nuggets the size of lead shot, aren't they? So if you get onto a little patch, you'll do well. Like back in the 90s, I got onto a patch at Creswick using it wasn't a Minelab, sorry to say. It was a gold master something or other. I think it's, yeah, gold master, I'm sure. And it was the first series. It was basically a square box. It looked like a squashed down shoebox with black with knobs on it. It did have a number after it. This is going back years and years and years. It was a very high frequency machine. And I got into a little patch of reef brake there, and I filled half a coffee jar of reef brake, just little tiny specimen type gold that'd fallen out of the reef, and some had the reef, part of the reef attached to it. And yeah, that was an afternoon's work, and I had half a coffee jar full of gold. And you get onto this sort of stuff, you just don't want half a coffee jar of lead shot, do you? But you know, you find little nuggets, there's little tiny bits of gold. Usually there's more. So you've got to hone in around the area you first find it. Usually there's more. unless it's all been cleaned out. So anyway, that's enough of that thing. I've done how many videos on gold monsters now? I've done older videos on gold monsters, probably going back maybe 2-3 months, or maybe more, on some of the stuff I did with these. Oh, well, mainly it was with the coil and that, pulling the coils apart, which I don't recommend to anybody. Don't do that. It's not worthwhile. And you can get extra out of it, but you can't put the bloody thing back together because you destroy it, the actual housing, in doing it, unless someone wants to start selling housings. Then I will happily pull coils apart and do some work inside the coil electronics and then put it in the new housing, but I don't have housings. So yeah, I don't know if any of the nugget finders or coil techs want to get involved in that. Probably not. Maybe the Chinese would if I said something. They'd probably see this video and do it anyway. You know what they're like. Anyway, catches.